Have you ever stopped to think that the world you see might not be the only version of reality out there? I mean, for a lot of animals, life is playing out at a totally different speed. It's almost like they have a superpower. And today, we're diving into how some of them literally see the world in slow motion.
Okay, let's start with something we've all experienced. The sheer frustration of trying to swat a fly, right? You see it sitting there, you make your move, and poof, it's gone. It feels like it has impossible reflexes. But what if the fly isn't actually faster? What if, from its point of view, you're the one who's just painfully slow?
That's pretty much exactly how a fly sees our world. To a fly, your hand coming down for what you think is a lightning-fast swat, well, it looks like it's moving through thick, heavy syrup. It gives the fly all the time in the world to see it coming, plan an escape route, and just casually buzz away.
And this isn't just some cool party trick that animals have. For them, perceiving time in this way is an absolutely critical survival tool. It's something that's been sharpened over millions of years of evolution. Honestly, it's the razor-thin line between getting a meal and becoming a meal.
So the sciencey term for this ability is temporal resolution. All that really means is how fast an animal's eyes and brain can process what they're seeing. The higher the temporal resolution, the more frames per second of reality they get to see.
So how in the world can we measure something like that? I mean, how do we figure out the frame rate of a fly's vision? Well, the answer is a pretty clever experiment called the flicker fusion test.
Basically, scientists take a light and start flickering it faster and faster. The exact point where an animal's brain stops seeing the individual flashes and it all just blends or fuses into a single steady light, that's its critical flicker fusion frequency, or CFF. It gives us a hard number for how fast that animal's vision really is.
And this is where it gets absolutely wild. For us humans, our CFF is around 60 Hertz. That's why a 60 frames per second video looks so smooth to us. A lot of birds, they're over 100 Hertz, which helps them dart through dense forests. But a fly can see flickers at over 250 Hertz. That means it's processing more than 4 times the amount of visual information that we do in the exact same moment. No wonder we can't catch them.
You know, the best way to wrap your head around this is to think of their vision as a built-in high-speed camera. While our eyes are filming reality at a standard frame rate, a fly's eyes are recording in stunning, ultra-slow motion detail. They see every tiny movement that's just a blur to us.
But these incredible abilities didn't just pop up out of nowhere. They are the direct result of a constant, high-stakes evolutionary arms race between predators and the prey they're trying to catch.
You can really see the pressure from both sides here. For a rabbit, being able to see a hawk diving in what feels like slow motion gives it precious extra moments to react and bolt. But then for the hawk, it needs that same high-speed vision to track the rabbit's frantic zigzagging and make split-second adjustments to its attack. It's a perceptual battle.
So, what decides who gets this amazing vision? Well, surprisingly, a huge part of it comes down to something really simple: body size. It turns out smaller animals tend to live life in the fast lane, both biologically and, as we're seeing, perceptually.
Just think about a tiny mouse. Its heart is beating like crazy, its metabolism is burning hot, and its brain's neurons are firing at an incredible rate. Its entire system is built for speed, so its perception of time has to match. Its internal clock speed is just cranked way, way up.
Now let's flip that completely on its head and think about an elephant. Everything is slower. Its metabolism is slow and steady. Nerve signals have a much longer way to travel. Its whole life unfolds at a more gradual, deliberate rhythm, so its perception of time is likely much slower to match.
But there's a catch. This slow-motion vision isn't free. It comes at a really steep price. Processing that much information that quickly takes a massive amount of energy. The neurons in a fly's brain are just burning through fuel, and that's why this ability only seems to evolve in animals where it's absolutely, positively necessary for survival.
When you start to piece all of this together, it really pushes you to think about reality in a new way. It leads to some pretty mind-bending conclusions about the nature of time itself.
Here's the big takeaway from all of this. Time, as we experience it, isn't some universal clock that's the same for everyone and everything. It's an experience that's literally constructed by our own biology, by our brain's processing speed, our metabolism, our very needs as a species.
What this means is that every single species is basically living in its own unique time bubble.
Our smooth flowing experience of the world is just one version out of millions that are all playing out simultaneously, and each one is perfectly tuned for that creature's survival. So, yeah, reality is layered. Just try to picture a forest for a second. You have a bird weaving through branches, a squirrel darting up a tree, a frog sitting on a leaf, and a fly buzzing around. They're all in the same physical space, but they're experiencing completely different temporal worlds.
And that just leaves you with this one fascinating question to chew on. If something as basic as the speed of time can be so different for other creatures, what other hidden realities, what other layers of perception are happening all around us, completely beyond our ability to ever experience?